All right. I've been seeing it so much. I guess I got to talk about it. I keep seeing videos of this Caitlin Clark girl. I don't watch WNBA. I don't really watch any sports. But for some reason, this fucking girl keeps popping up everywhere I go, everywhere I look. So you can't help but hear about her and then hear about the racism from white society. They're trying to push this girl, and while not pushing the other non-white girls in the league. But I'm making this video not because of that. We already know about racism. Apparently, black people don't really care about racism. They don't ever want to do anything about it. They just want to continue funneling their money into the pockets and the bank accounts of wealthy white men and women. So, I mean, if the black society as a whole doesn't care, I guess I'd be foolish to just sit here and waste my breath. So, I'm not going to talk about that. But what really bothered me is, and we've seen these horrors before on television. These black male whores who will, I can't even, I have to actually describe what is being done. What you're seeing is white society has purposely maneuvered to neuter and to destroy black society as a whole. And they've done it. They did it a while ago. I guess we didn't really pay attention to it being done, or the way it was being done. But you can kind of look now at black society, and you can kind of realize we've been destroyed. We're done. It's the end. I don't know how long black people will be a major thing in this country. Who knows? I don't know. But we as a society are done. Collectively, we're done. You have pockets of black men and women who are strong and who will fight and who are doing what they know needs to be done. But there are so many other blacks in this country, and they outnumber the good ones. There are so many of them that are just gone. They're just done. And so it affects us as a whole, the community as a whole. So you have white society eroding and neutering our black masculinity, even our black femininity, just destroying us entirely. They destroy us, they take away opportunities, they kind of make self sustainable existence, they kind of make that unreachable for us. And then once that becomes unreachable, then they say, well, we'll give you some money, we'll give you some benefits, and we'll give you a leg up if you do these things that you normally wouldn't do because you know that it is disgraceful and disgusting and pathetic, like a whore. So they'll do things like, oh, well, we've destroyed any real way for the masses of black people to get ahead, but we're going to offer you the ability to get ahead if you go out there and you preach the things that we want to say, do the things that we want to do, but can't because people would call us out and we would be punished for being racist. We want you black people to do it. We'll pay you, and we've taken away all the other opportunities, but here is an opportunity to make some money by debasing yourself to push the things that we want you to push. Things you normally wouldn't push, but we're going to give you enough money so that you look the other way. And you have all these whores out there who will just debase themselves. And I don't even, in some instances, there are times where on TV you'll have like white producers, the head of the channel or the network will tell them, what's that other whore I always talk about? Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith, we want you to say this, that, and the third, and we kind of want you to skew the message this way. And they'll just flat out tell them. And they'll go out there and they'll either ad lib, or maybe they'll give them a script and they'll kind of go off the script somehow, not verbatim, but, they just use the script to kind of construct what they're going to say on air. So sometimes they would just give them a script and just tell them what to say. But I think in a lot of these instances you're seeing now, a lot of these whores will just do it because in their mind they're like, well, if I debase myself and say what I know these racist, demonic animals want me to say, that they'll give me some sort of cookie for it. I'll get a prize or a reward, and that prize or reward will be, an extension of your contract, or maybe a raise, or maybe a better time slot, or more recognition, give you more access, more opportunity, and so they'll just do it without even being told. like a little animal whore that has been trained to just do what your master says. This is what your master likes, so you do it when they need it done because they can't do it, so you do it. So I'm watching these networks and these guys. I mean, what's going on with this Caitlin Clark girl? Where they are boosting this girl and ignoring the non-white girls is so disgusting. I mean, it's like blatantly being done. It's so pathetic and disgusting and weak that I don't even know how to describe it. But then you have the black guys going along and helping them.
Y'all petty, man. Hey, LeBron, you're 100% right on these girls hating on Caitlin Clark. Y'all petty, girls. I expect men to be petty because we're the most insecure group in the world.
Yeah, you are.
Y'all should be thanking that girl for getting y'all ass private charters, all the money and visibility she bringing to the WNBA. Don't be petty like dudes. Listen, what she's accomplished, give her flowers. Stop being petty, all you women out there. She got y'all ass charters. She bringing all y'all this money to the table, but y'all being petty like dudes.
They're just gonna go along and they're gonna take it a step further. They're not going to boost Caitlin Clark and just ignore the black girls. No, they're gonna attack the black girls. They're like, you know what? Our white masters aren't able to really say what they want to say about these black players, so we'll say it. We'll say it for them. And hopefully our white gods will give us some more of that sweet, sweet money.
Caitlin Clark, thank you for bringing all that money and shine to the WNBA.
This shit is weak, pathetic. And it started making me think, you're online now. It's been happening for a while, but it's really starting to ramp up because everyone is getting on board. You have all these weak, pathetic, loser black males making podcasts. I mean, there's so many goddamn podcasts, and what I'm doing isn't a podcast. So don't make fun of me. This is not a podcast. This was just a random commentary show that I started in 2017 to talk about random things. It's not a podcast. I don't pay famous people to boost my channel and to just ask them questions. No, I have a brain and I like to discuss things and talk about things. I don't just write questions and then pay somebody who's famous to kind of boost my channel for me by using that person as content. So I'm not the same thing. Just want to get that out there. But you have so many of these podcasts where these guys do exactly what I just said. They're just like a brainless idiot. And when you hear them speaking, you can tell these guys are like fucking retards. And they just pay somebody to come on and ask them some generic questions and hope that gets them enough views so that they can get ad revenue. And you're not a bad person for doing it, but there's so many of them that it is pathetic and disgusting at this point. Find another way. You have all this time. You can invest all this money in these cameras and the microphone equipment, and you have all these other people that you pay to just like sit around in the room as you ask questions to this famous person that you brought on. Use that money and those resources to do something better for the community, to add something to the community. Present us with solutions to problems instead of just rehashing the same problems over and over again in the form of interviews with famous people. And it's just, there is this effeminate way that males, it's not just black males, but males in general are moving nowadays, because the wealthy have worked to kind of take away opportunities for men to go out there and make ways for themselves. They've kind of destroyed so many of those opportunities that the men have just, they do whatever they need to do to make money, including becoming more effeminate and doing things like creating gossip shows and going online and just gossiping about random celebrities like a woman would do. This is the kind of shit when I was growing up that Wendy Williams and Oprah Winfrey would do on their television shows, or The View. A bunch of women sit around and gossip. And now you have the fucking men doing it. And the reason that I wanted to talk about it is because one of the main things I want to talk about is what I said earlier. We need to realize that white society has eroded any ability, or most of the abilities that our men and women have of making a way for themselves. They've eroded so many abilities, so many of these different avenues that people could take to make a respectable living for themselves, to make a living and still be respectable. They've taken so much of that away, and now because they've done that, you have all of these desperate people out there who want access to income and access to revenue, and they can only do it if they kind of do whatever the wealthy people tell them to do. I want you to go out there and to debase anyone that looks like you, and I have a hatred for black people, and I can't say these racist things or push this racist message because I'm white and I'll get called out for it. So guess what? I'll give you a check. I'll pay you well, but I need you to go out on a regular basis and kind of erode your people that look like you for me. And you have so many black people that just want the money so badly, they'll say, okay, I'll do it. And I think, it's just something black people don't really think about. The reason you have all these types of people online and on television who are literally, just eroding us as a people, and I'm talking about black people. The reason you have so many black people out there in media who are just working to destroy us and destroy our image is because white society has taken away their ability to make money and be respectable. And instead, they've said, you know what? We're going to take that away from you and only give you access if you do this negative stuff against your people that we want you to do. And black people are just, once again, they're still funding these people. They still support these white people and pay them. They pump their money into their businesses. They go into their stores. They buy their products. They promote their products. It's just, we know that white society is doing everything they can to erode us and to ultimately destroy us. And we watch it. And still, this weekend, people are going to go out and spend most of their money propping up white men and women, white society, period. Propping up white society by going into their businesses, giving them their cash that they've worked so hard for during that week, just pumping it back into the white society's coffers. And so you're going to keep having this. Black women, you're looking at this pathetic display where these black whores are not protecting their black women. They're not protecting these black women in this NBA league, in this WNBA league. Instead, they're attacking them in order to shield and boost that white girl. And they're doing it for their own financial gain. And you're seeing this with your own two eyes. And I want black women to understand something and really get this into your fucking heads and realize it. Not only are you pushing for this stuff to happen to women, to black women specifically, because you look the other way and ignore the stuff white society does by just not fighting against them, by not boycotting them. Not only do you do that, you pump money into their accounts, you enrich them. So you're literally paying them to do this stuff and to create these types of scenarios. But on top of that, you have a lot of these men out here who are engaging in these actions, and you don't understand why. The reason that so many of these men are engaging in these actions is because women, not just black women, but women in general, have shown that that's the type of man that they want. You will only give attention and respect to men that have access to large amounts of money. You have men like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Fred Hampton. Those men literally made a conscious decision to throw their lives in the garbage to try to protect black society, including black women. They literally put their lives on the line. They knowingly threw their lives in the trash and said, I'm going to get murdered for this, but black society, including our black women, need to be protected. Those men were murdered. We let white society murder those people, and then we kind of ignored it. We didn't fight back. We didn't do anything collectively as a group to honor those men and their sacrifice, because we are actually in a worse position now than we were back then, before they started fighting. So those types of men who will actually risk their lives to protect black society, including black women, black society, including black women, showed the younger generation that, well, we don't honor those types of men. Those types of men are not worth our time. They're not worth anything. We're not going to do anything to honor their sacrifice. So what happened is, the younger black generation grew up, and they realized, well, I shouldn't be like a Malcolm X or a Martin Luther King or a Fred Hampton or a Medgar Evers. I shouldn't be like those men, because while people say they did good things, those men weren't honored, and they're dead. They were murdered. They were shot dead in their prime, and they weren't honored. Who does society honor? Well, they honor men with money, and it doesn't matter how the men get the money. The men can be pimps, they could be drug dealers, they could be opportunists. The men can do whatever they have to. As long as the men have the money, the women will want those men. And so if I want the women, I need to get the money. And that means I need to do whatever I have to do to get the money, because the women don't care how I get it. They just want me to have it. And so he's cultivated all these different types of men. The Shannon Sharps, the Charles Barkleys, the Stephen A. Smiths, the Shaquille O'Neals, all of these pathetic whores that you see on television who are debasing themselves and our people just for a check. Those people are doing that because they know, well, the women that I want, they don't care how I get this money as long as I get the money. So this stuff is never going to stop. Apparently, it's never going to go away. We don't really honor or really respect, because we act like we respect those civil rights leaders who were executed and assassinated. We act like we respect them, but we don't, because we don't do anything to see that their dream has been fulfilled. We don't do anything to work to make sure that the thing that they fought for actually becomes a reality. So we don't honor them. They just died, and we're like, oh well, they did some nice things, but fuck them. The only people that we honor are the people that have money, and we don't care how those people get access to that money. And so the younger generation is going to keep growing into these men and into these women who will just debase themselves and do whatever disrespectful, pathetic thing that they have to do to get the money, because that is what our society respects, apparently, and that those are the people that actually get the respect and get our attention. And so that's why you see this kind of shit going on and happening. I don't know what else to say.
The one thing that I love that she's bringing to her sport, more people want to watch. More people want to tune in. I saw for the first time that they had a chartered plane for the first time in their league history. They flew private. That should be celebrated in its own right. And it's because of Caitlin Clark. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it fucked up. Caitlin Clark is the reason why a lot of great things is going to happen for the WNBA.
Instead of calling out the fact that white society ignored the WNBA because it was dominated by black women, and now, only because this white girl is in the league, white society is paying so much attention that it's drawing so much money. Instead of commenting on that fact, these guys are like, well, who cares about racism? Just go along with it and get the money. Don't be jealous of her. It's not white society and their pathetic jealousy and racism. No, it's nothing to do with that. No. It's just you guys are just jealous of her because she's white.